Hello students, I am VLN Swarupini, lecturer in biochemistry from Sri Venkateswara College of Arts and Sciences, which is affiliated to Adikavi Nannaya University, Rajahmundry. Now, I would like to discuss about 3rd BSc 6th semester biochemistry elective paper, that is basic microbiology. And from this unit 4, we'll see the last topic, that is economical importance of algae. Okay, let's move to the topic. So we'll see about economical importance of algae. So listen properly, because we'll come across n number of algae names. So just see with the full concentration. So here, economic importance of algae. So we should see how these algae are utilized as food material, and how these are used as fertilizers, and what are the commercial importance of these algae and all. So let's start the class. So here, primary producers, these are the primary producers. Here, uh, algae are the primary producers of organic matter in the aquatic environment. Okay, so because of their photosynthetic activity only, they provide food to aquatic fauna. So aquatic fauna like fish and all, they feed on these algae. Okay, so that's why we call them as primary producers. And coming to their economical importance as food, these algae shows highest economical importance in food. Why? Because many countries, they use this algae as uh, food material. Okay, so seaweeds most commonly are used in different countries for the food purpose. Okay, so algae are used as food in several countries for centuries. And why we use these algae as food means these are rich in proteins, vitamins and minerals. Okay, these are rich in proteins, vitamins and minerals. So potassium, sodium and chloride are formed in ionic form in seaweed. So whatever the potassium and sodium chloride, we know sodium and chloride, how important these are to our body. So these are formed in ionic forms in seaweeds. Okay, and again, among the groups of chlorophyceae like Volva, Enteromorpha, Monostroma, these are used as food in Japan. Okay, so few members of chlorophyceae like Ulva, Enteromorpha, Monostroma are used as food in Japan. And Chlorella, which is well known, is used as a high protein and lipid content due to its high protein and lipid content. So it is cultivated in large scale in Taiwan, Japan, Germany and USA for food purpose. And among Phaeophyceae, which is a seaweed group, Alaria, Laminaria, Sargassum, Dervillia, Pelvatia. So these are used as food. And Laminaria is the important edible seaweed in Japan. And by using this Laminaria, they prepare a special food item called kombu. Okay, kombu. So it is their cultural food. Okay, so among red algae, if you see what are the organisms used for diet means Porphyra, Chondrus, Palmaria, Gelidelia and Gracilaria are commonly edible algae in Canada, Japan, Philippines and Korea. Okay, and these are used in salads, soups, and these are also used in mixed. These are cooked in mixed combination with vegetables. Okay, so and red algae for phyra is cultivated on sea coasts of Japan on commercial scale. So, if you observe here, most commonly Japan and Japan is uh, mostly using this algae as food. So, if you see, Japan is using ulva, enteromorpha, monostroma, from chlorophyceae group, and also it is cultivating chlorella, and also it prepares a special food called kombu using laminaria, and it is also using red algae like porphyra, chondrus, palmaria, uh, geldilla, gracilaria. So this Japan is also growing porphyra, which is another red algae. So Japan is mostly using this algae as food apart from other countries like Taiwan, Philippines, Canada, USA, and Korea. Okay, so if you see the nutritious values here, they have high amounts of protein and vitamins and minerals. That's why few countries they depend not depend they take this algae as important food source. Okay, so these contain 35% protein, 45% carbohydrates, vitamins like vitamin B and vitamin C, and niacin. So these are the major compounds that we commonly see in algae group. Okay, so here Cyanophyceae group contain nostoc and spirulina, and these are also edible algae. Here spirulina contains highest amount of protein content, that is 65% of spirulina is of protein. So this nutrient rich algae is cultivated in large scale in Taiwan, in also in some other countries. So here chlorella and uh, Syncoccus. So these finding applications in spaceships also. So nuclear submarines and all. So oxygen regenerating and also food. So these are used in spaceships and nuclear submarines for oxygen regeneration and also as a food, and also for water recycling also these organisms are used in large scale. Okay, and as food shortage is burning problem in throughout the world, algae is a conventional food crop. Okay, and it is also rich in nutrients and also in protein content, so it is a better food option for many countries. Okay, so next, using this algae as fodder and fertilizer. So fodder is nothing but animal food. Okay, so seaweeds are rich in copper, iron, zinc, cobalt, cadmium, molybdenum, manganese, and boron. So these are used as fodder and for the feeding of livestock and poultry in many European countries and South India also. Okay, so here glacial gracilaria is commonly fed for the hens, and this helps the hen to give more eggs. Okay, and also ascophyllum, laminaria, fucus are also used as stock feed, and here spirulina is also used as uh, fish food. Okay, these are used for fishes, poultry, and also for cattle for higher productivity. Okay, so these are mostly used in livestock management. Okay, so here cultivation of spirulina is gaining importance as feed for fish, poultry, and cattle. And here uh, Rudmania palmata is used as food for sheep in Norway. I think it's Norway, it's not Norway. Okay, it's Norway. And next, seaweeds are used as manure as they are rich in minerals, but they lack nitrogen and phosphorus. So, blue green algae are rich in nitrogen and phosphorus. So, they are better fertilizers than seaweeds. So, coming to the biofertilizers, seaweeds are not much suitable as manure, but coming to blue green algae, these can be chosen as fertilizers as there is the highest amount of nitrogen and phosphorus, and we know biofertilizers they should be have these macronutrients NPK. So that's why presence of this nitrogen and phosphorus, this makes blue green algae as a better biofertilizer when compared to seaweeds. Okay, a suitable blended mixture of seaweed and Cyanophyceae manures may serve as ideal fertilizers in developing countries. So you can use the seaweeds in combination with different groups. So the Cyanophyceae and seaweeds can be used in combination as fertilizer. And here members of Cyanophyceae like uh, Toliphothrics and Alocera, they increase fertility of the rice fields. So these are the well-known biofertilizers. And algal mats of Anavinopsis and Spirulina, which are obtained from the Sambar salt lake of Rajasthan. These are dried and applied as manure by the local farmers of the Rajasthan. So there are 40 species of blue-green algae such as Nostac, Andabina, Formadium. So these are helpful in the fixation of atmospheric nitrogen. So these increase soil fertility. That's why these blue-green algae are commonly used. Okay. Now let's see about commercial products which are developed from algae. So here many products like commercial products like alginates, agar-agar, carrageenan, diatomite, funori, mannitol, fucoidan and minerals are developed by using algae. So first let's see about alginates. So these alginates are the salts of alginic acid which is found in the cell wall of the Phaeophyceae group. Okay. So while discussing about cell wall, we have seen this point. And alginates are extracted from Fucus laminaria, Microcystis, and Padina. So in India, sargassum is used for extraction of alginic acid. Okay, and alginic acid is insoluble in water and hard when dried. So it is not easily soluble in water, and also when it is dried up, it is very hard in structure. And the sodium alginate is used as seizing material for waterproof material. So as it is not soluble in water and hard when dried, it is used as a waterproof material. And this waterproof material is mostly used for flame-proof fabrics and plastic paints, gauze material and surgical dressing, rollers of typewriters and buttons in textile industry are mostly used by using this alginates. Okay. And the next one is agar agar. So we all know what is the importance of agar agar. We use this agar agar for bacterial growth. So it is a gelling agent and it gives a solid, it acts as a solid support for the bacteria to grow in the laboratory conditions. So this agar agar is a jelly like substance and it is obtained from the algae groups like Gelidium, Gracilaria and Zygatina. Okay, in most of the countries, Gelidium serves as the raw material for the production of agar-agar. Okay, so this agar is used in the culture medium for growing algae, fungi, bacteria and so many. species. Okay, and it contains galactose and sulfate, and it melts at the temperature of 90 to 100 degrees centigrade, and it becomes solid at room temperature. Okay, and at low temperatures, and it is used as stabilizer and emulsifier in food, cosmetics, leather and pharmaceutical industries. So in food material also, for production of food materials like jellies and some kind of ice creams, these agar agar is used as stabilizer and emulsifier. Okay, and it is used in canning of fish. So fish, in few countries what happens, there will be no proper availability of a fish, so they'll export these fish. So during that process they do this scanning process, and for that this agar agar is also used, and making the capsules of antibiotics as a laxative agent. So if you observe few kind of capsules, there will be gel like uh, consistency, so it is due to the agar agar. And in India, large quantities of agar are produced in Chilka Lake, Cape Comorin, Pamban, Andamans and Kathiawar Cut. Okay, so next one is carrageenan. So carrageenan is extracted from the cell wall of red algae like Chondrus and Zygatina. So it is a polysaccharide acidified with sulfate. So this particular algae, as we have seen, as this carrageenan, this is a polysaccharide with sulfate and used as emulsifier in pharmaceutical industries and also in textiles, leather, cosmetic and brewing industry also. And the next one is diatomite. So this is of great importance. So this is produced from the cell wall material of diatoms. This diatomite is also known as K-silgar. This is used in different kinds of biochemical techniques also. Okay, so it occurs as deposits in marine and freshwater basins also. That means this K-silgar is deposited from the diatoms in the marine and freshwater basins. So these diatoms, these are insoluble, porous and chemically inert material. So as this is a chemical inert material, it is most preferable in using different laboratory techniques, as it is not easily reactive with all the other compounds. Okay, it finds use as a filter for oils and clearing solvents. So it is used as filter. Why? Because it is insoluble and porous in condition, and it is used in insulating the boilers excuse me, insulating the boilers and blast furnaces, as it can resist higher temperatures. Even it can resist a 15,000 degrees centigrade. So that's why this is used in blast furnaces and also in boilers. Okay, and it is used as industrial filter in uh, sugar refinery and brewing industries. Okay, here Alfred Nobel used this diatomite as a absorbent for nitroglycerin in the manufacturing of dynamite. Okay, so during the process of dynamite preparation, Albert Nobel used this diatomite to absorb nitroglycerin in the process. Okay, it is also used in making toothpastes, metal polishes, and also in paints. These are also used. That's why these paints which are used for night vision, these radium paints are used for night vision. So these uh, light visibility during night is due to these Kesulkar. Okay, and the next one is Finori, and this is a tip. It is a type of glue which is obtained from red algae, like gl- Gloipiltis furcata, and it is used as an adhesive. So to stick anything, we can use this funaria, which is a glue-like substance, and it is also used as a sizing agent for paper and cloth. And chemically, it is similar to agar-agar, except that there is no sulfate ester group in the phenol. Okay. And the next one is mannitol and fucoidyl. This mannitol is also a water soluble crystalline powder obtained from seaweeds like Sargassum turbinaria, and it is used as sweetener in foodstuffs for diabetic persons. So these are used as sweeteners, artificial sweeteners for diabetic patients, and also in the pharmaceutical preparations these are used. This fucoidin is a mucilaginous product obtained from brown algae like chondrus and ascophyllum and fucus. It is found, it finds use as blood anticoagulant. That means it is used as blood anticoagulant. So next one is we can prepare different kinds of minerals by using these algae. Let's see that. Brown seaweeds, which are called as kelps, they yield potash, soda, and iodine. And these weeds are collected and air dried and burnt in kilns to prepare these minerals. And ash obtained is processed to recover soda and alum. And iodine is extracted mostly from laminaria and the other one is Eclonia. Okay, Ecklonia. So this print is not proper. Okay, so iodine is an important constituent of thyroid hormone. So this um, who contain who is having these thyroid hormone issues, so they are treated with this iron. So this is of great importance. And some seaweeds are rich sources of iron, zinc, copper, manganese, and boron. So here bromine is extracted from red algae like Polysiphonia and Rhodymania. So about 45 elements are found in seaweed Macrocystis perifera. Okay. So next one is antibiotics and medicines. So antibiotic chlorelin is obtained from chlorella, which is an effective antibiotic against pathogenic bacteria, and extracts from Cladophora lingua. It can kill pathogenic Pseudomonas and Mycobacterium, and extracts of Dyschnia, Cordium, Alcidium, Durvilla yield an effective vermifuge. Okay, vermifuge. Okay, and laminaria sulfate extracted from laminaria is used as blood anticoagulant, and agar agar is used for treating the prolapsed stomach. Okay, and laminaria is used as one of the modern tool for abortion. Okay, and seaweeds have beneficial effect on gallbladders, pancreas, kidneys, uterus, and thyroid glands. Presence of Cara and Nitilla's algae in pond causes death of mosquito larvae, thus helping in control of malaria for some extent. And the next one is growth hormones. Growth hormones. So auxins, which are plant hormones, these grow. These are extracted from filtrates of chlorella, anabana, oscillatoria, laminaria, valonia, and fucus. So the growth promoting substances found in extracts of formedium is of nature of gibberellins. Okay, so whatever the substance found in formedium acts like gibberellin. And the next one is sewage disposal. So for sewage disposal also algae is used. So let's see how. So sewage is a big sanitary hazard, uh, causing epidemics and mosquito maniac. So algae help in bacterial decomposition of sewage by providing oxygen release during photosynthesis. So here decomposition is carried by using these algae. Okay, and otherwise, due to lack of aeration, anaerobic bacteria of sewage takes place, resulting in unpleasant odors. So, by usage of these algae in combination with bacteria, we can avoid the unpleasant odors that are produced during the decomposition process. And for this purpose, sewage oxidation ponds have been created for treating the sewage. And initially, Euglena is used. Later, Chlorella, Cynodesmus and Chlamydomonas are also used for sewage disposal. And next one is algae as rich research material. So this algae is also used for research, and in research this algae is used as an experiment material. So in biological research algae are useful because of their rapid growth. So as these grow fast, these can be easily taken as experimental sample, and brief lifespan and easy mode of cultivation. So that's why these are selected, like Chlorella, Cynodesmus and Cystis are used in identifying or researching in the photosynthesis process, and blue-green algae are used for the nitrogen fixation studies, and genetics research, cytology research are used. Algae like Estobularia, Chlamydomonas are commonly used for genetic research and cytology research. Okay. So next one is soil reclamation. Soil reclamation. So for soil reclamation, blue-green algae can be used to help reclamation of the saline and alkali soils. So we can treat the saline and alkali soils by using blue-green algae like Nostac, uh, Cytonema, and Ebina, and their growth results in decrease of soil pH and increase in nitrogen, phosphorus, and organic matter. Okay. So because of this, land will be converted into fertile and cultivable. So next one is algae as source of biofuel. Okay. So with increasing dependence on imported oil and depleting oil resources worldwide, scientists they are working on this uh, biofuel from algae. Okay, so here in comparison with terrestrial based biofuel crops like corn or soya bean, microalgae proved to be the best choice for biofuel production. So here microalgae can be grown on large scale on marginal lands which are useless or for ordinary crops. They can also be grown on the surface of ocean in bags or floating screens. Further, algae cultivation requires no external application of herbicides or pesticides. This is a great advantage. Why? Because if you go for any cultivation, there we should invest on herbicides or pesticides or in disease control or disease management, pest management. So here those kind of additional investments will not be there in algae biosynthesis. So that is for great use. That's why developing this algae is so easy. Okay, so this algae can also be used as biofuel, and these can be easily grown with minimum uh, investment, and with very less, within less period of time we can get the product also. Okay, so the lipid or oily part of the algae biomes can be extracted and converted into biodiesel through a process similar to used for any vegetable oil. Okay, so these biodiesel can be easily developed. So, lipid extraction and carbohydrate content of the algae can be fermented by using groups like Clostridium into bioethanol or butanol fuel. So, we can also develop these bioethanol and butanol by these methods. So, the following species of algae have been found to be suitable for mass oil production, like Sargassum, Gracilaria, Chlorella, uh, Botricoccus, Cyclotella, Cendesmus, and Dunaliella. Okay, so apart from the advantages, we also have some disadvantages. Few groups, they produce exotoxins like Anabina, Q is produces exotoxin. So toxic and parasitism is commonly seen in algae, and these algae sometimes causes water pollution also. Okay, so mostly we see this eutrophication regarding this algae, and so these are the economical importance and harmful aspects regarding algae. So with this we have completed the unit 4, and in the next class we will see about the unit 5, in which we will discuss about fungi. Okay, thank you students.